Malo Ovito Talo Falava, Francis. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's lovely to be here with you today. My apologies, I don't speak any Samoan. I would like to, but maybe in the future. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure having you, Doctor, on the program this afternoon, and hopefully the next interview will be 50-50, half in Tongan and half in Samoan, and probably 5% in English.
Definitely, definitely.
Anyways, good to have you on the program today. Now, I was taken away when I attended the Parents' Evening for the Faculty of Law of the Auckland's Law School at Auckland University with the Pacifica presenters that were talking about what life it is for Pacifica students, even though we have a very small number of students attending the law school or Auckland Law School at University of Auckland. Now, you are a graduate from the Auckland Law School. What was it like for you to attend Auckland University and to take up law?
Wow. First of all, I didn't. I graduated. I have a PhD in law from Waikato University.
Uh-huh.
I went there because Emeritus Professor Margaret Wilson, the first female Attorney General, first female Speaker of Parliament, supervised me. So I did my PhD and most of my law studies at Waikato Law School. What I can say is that Auckland Law School offers a lot more in terms of support and services for our Pacific students, and it was lovely to see you. And I think that's something important to note, that the parent support of families, the support of the churches, our collectives, our communities, support the support that they give our students, our young ones in law school, is a pretty determinative factor of whether they're going to succeed or not. So thank you for coming. It was lovely to see you.
Now, what was it like for you to attend Waikato University and law? Was there any available services, particularly for the Pacifica students?
Now I'm old, so I did my first law degree, my LLB, about 20 years ago, over 20 years ago, and we hadn't that at that time there wasn't anything. There wasn't even a Pacific Law Student Association. There was nothing in terms of the services offered or targeted for Pacific Island students. We pretty much were with the mainstream in sink or swim. You did the best you could, really. Yeah, and we had no support, no extra help,
So,
academic.
so
Well,
who did you rely on apart from God and yourself?
ah, God is good. Oh, you say that again. There was I had a cousin. I had a cousin who Same Missy. We went to classes together. We would, if one of us missed class, the other one would make sure to take notes so that we'd always have notes available. So that friendship, the bond I had with my cousin, carried me through the LLB degree. And also, there was a very kind lecturer who worked in Papua New Guinea. He was Balangi, but he worked in Papua New Guinea for a long time, and he unofficially was sort of like the dean, the Pacific dean in that time, and he would help us. We would stand in hallways and ask him for help. We didn't have any space or any programs or extra tutorials or anything, but he did the best he could to help us. And that's in terms of helping, that's pretty much all I had. I think, as with anything, it depends on how much you want something, and we really wanted to pass, so we would go see lecturers after class. We were too shy to speak during class, of course, so we would make time to see lecturers and speak to them about things we didn't understand. And I grew up in Tonga. I didn't move here till I was 17 to come to university, so it was all a bit of a shock to me to attend these big lectures in this Balangi world. So it was yeah, a bit of a shock, a little bit scary, but I think the good thing about having grown up in Tonga is I was given the mindset of being grateful for the opportunity to access further education, and that to really try to persevere, to try to overcome difficulties.
What
I don't
made
know.
what made you wanna pursue law out of everything? Police officer, a nurse, something other than law.
I did 2 years of medicine first, and I didn't like the cadavers I had to work on, the dead bodies. I didn't have the stomach for it. So I thought the next best thing would be law. I think at the end of the day, I wanted to make my family, my community proud of me, and I thought that being a lawyer was something, looked up to as prestigious. That was my thinking as a very young person at the time. So I just thought, well, if I wasn't going to do medicine, I might as well try and do law. So yeah, it just happened that way. And there was a movie, this is very silly, but there was a movie that came out around that time called Legally Blonde. And like I watched it and I thought, oh, I might actually want to, I want to be like Elle Woods. I don't know. That was very silly, but yeah, I kind of accidentally ended up in law school. Yeah.
And I think you're not the only person that pursues careers that sort of way. Yeah, I have a cousin.
Yeah.
Um, he went into medicine and he did it for 10 years.
Oh,
And now he owns a diving company.
okay. Yeah.
So, what I'm trying to say is, not everything that we do will end up doing for the rest of our lives. So you started off with medicine, so you didn't like the dead bodies. Now you've become a lecturer. Now, compare yourself with what is being offered. If this was offered back 20 years ago, right? Would you see yourself as successful as you are now with all the help that's offered at the Auckland Law School?
This is an exaggeration. I would be 3, 4 times as successful, like as I am right now, if I had all these services available to me. It's just so much available that wasn't available. Of course, our students still face difficulties. They face challenges that mainstream students wouldn't have to, but in terms of support and help and assistance that's available, um, if that was available to me, I would, yeah, I'd like to say that I would be a lot more successful.
All right, now let's break it down. A kid, a son, or a daughter qualifies to come to Auckland University for the Auckland School of Law. Now, not only do you guys welcome them with open arms, I'm talking about the Pacifica students. Because when I was there that evening, I don't think there's about. Do we reach the number of 100 students coming into Auckland Uni as Pacifica students, Pacifica Law students?
Well, the first year is quite a big cohort. So generally, first year law, the very first law year paper, there's 1,000 enrolled. And out of them, I think we'd had about 200 who'd identify as of Pacific descent. Yeah, is but I wouldn't say we have compared to. It's a very small percentage of, and as students progress, because there are four parts to the law degree, we get fewer. Yeah, we try and we try and retain, and we try and see our students our very best pass through, but we don't have too many who graduate.
So it's easy to enter, but it's hard to maintain it and to finally have a graduation for Pacifica students. What seems to be the problem along the way?
So first year it's open to everyone, but passing to second year is the challenge. So you need a particular grade point average to get through. You have to pass a number of papers and get particular grades to progress from year one, part one to part two. And so it's a lot fewer that move into part two from part one. I'm sorry, what was the question?
No, I'm asking, is it what seems to be the problem? Why are our Pacifica students, decreasing in numbers as we walk along these 5 years to get a degree in law school?
Yeah, I don't know whether I should have said that. Probably more of we do get our students graduating, but our pass rates are sometimes lower than the mainstream averages. That's of course why we have our own admission schemes and our own initiatives and programs available to our Pacific students. Um, the truth is, law is hard. It's
Yes.
hard, and more so for our Pacific students who we have a lot of other things that take from our time. We have family obligations, we have church community things we have to divide our time to. It's not easy, and the law institution can be sometimes completely different from the environments that we come from.
Mm.
Like it was for me, a bit of a shock. It's I hate to say it, but it's a very Balangi centric kind of a place to be. So sometimes it can be a little alienating, a little confusing. It's not often, we do hear from students, they feel like it's not a place where Pacific students feel like they belong.
Mm.
They feel a little out of place there. And it's, yeah. Oh, but it's also just very hard. There's a lot of work you have to do to pass pretty much every law paper there is. So it's challenging and it requires a lot of focus and usually a lot of resources and time, of which a lot of our students really lack or just don't have.
Mm.
And we try our best to assist with that and to alleviate and to help address those challenges, but we can't address everything. And at the end of the day, it comes down to each individual student and
Yes.
the effort they're willing to put in and their own personal circumstances. But we
That's
try.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry to interrupt, Doctor. Now, let's see. I'm a new student, Pacifica student at the Auckland Law School, University of Auckland. Now, I come from a background, a very religious family, right? And we also do Whalavilavis 24/7. Not that we do, but I'm just painting a picture. Now, a couple of days I have to stay home. And this is because I was told by my parents that you can't go to school, you got to be here, you got to look after your siblings while we go and do the Fa'alawilawi. What are some of the things that you at the Pacifica arm of the Auckland, of the law school, are offering to the parents and, of course, to especially to the students in order for them to actually pass their papers year in, year out?
Yeah. So we have a lot of programs, tutorials that we offer for the core law papers. We also have a student support advisor, Jeremiah Lafaile, who does a very good job. Um, when students have some issues, financial hardship or whatever it is they need, they see Jeremiah as a first point of contact. He tries to help as much as we can. The head of our Pacific cohort at the Auckland Law School is Professor Guy Fiti Sinclair, Samoan, the first to actually reach the state's associate professor level, a first Pacific person of Pacific descent to reach associate professor level. So, and then there's Fuimano Dylan Asafo and myself. And we have also Beatrice Tamankora, Chelsea Naipi, and Kara. We have a really qualified, a brilliant team of Pacific staff at Auckland Law School, and we're all there to help our Pacific students succeed. I think in terms of Fa'alavelave, it's not our place to tell you which parts of your culture to how to practice your culture and whether you should attend or not. But we can say what I can say is this is 4 years. It's 4 years. It'd be nice if you have the parents understand this is just 4 years and you can fa'alavelave the next 40 years of your life. And if you have a law degree and you're a lawyer, you'll have a lot more money for the fa'alavelave. If you allow them 4 years to focus solely on this law degree, it ends up being a lot better for the family, for the community, if you allow your students, your child, enough time, a grace period where they can just focus on doing their work and they're excused from probably fully attending our religious and cultural I don't know, gatherings and obligations to
Mm.
have time to actually commit because law is it's not something you just get through. You can't just skate through a law degree. It is a lot of work and it requires commitment and it requires time. And if we can do that, if the families can support their students with that, it will go a long way to helping them succeed. And it will, the benefits of that would be a lot bigger for not just our individual students, but for the families and communities they come from.
Now, is Auckland University, the Auckland Law School, the best opportunity for Pacifica students to come and educate themselves with the law?
I really do think so, and I didn't go to Auckland Law School. It is ranked as the number one law school in New Zealand, so it is the best legal education you're going to get, and that's coming from someone who didn't go there. It also, the programs that we have to support Pacific students is unique. I don't think this is available in any other law school in the country. The wraparound support we have, not just in terms of academic support, but pastoral support for our students. So if I were a Pacific young person in New Zealand today, and I had to choose where to go to law school, I would choose Auckland Law School.
Do we have that many Pacifica lawyers that have graduated so far? And how many do we need for Pacifica countries or Pacifica peoples in the
Yeah.
future?
We do have some brilliant lawyers, Pacific lawyers out now that are alumni from Auckland Law School and other law schools. I can't give you statistics off the top of my head, but there aren't that many. But the ones that are Pacific lawyers that are practitioners are very good at what they do. We're very proud of them. We could always use more, which is why we have programs such as ours at Auckland Law School, and we do, in terms of the Pacific, of course, there's a University of the South Pacific now. They're local Pacific universities where students in their countries are choosing to go to now for financial reasons and otherwise. But we do also still get students coming on scholarships or privately funded here to Auckland Law School and to other law schools here in New Zealand.
And final word this afternoon, Dr. Suliana, to all the parents who are unsure because the kids are at year 13 this year. The students are still trying to figure out what their career paths would be. See, I didn't find out my career path until it was too late.
Yeah.
What's your advice as a lecturer, as an assistant dean for Moana, Oceania, for parents, all the parents that are tuning in, or the grandparents to engage with their grandchildren who are almost graduating from high school, to pursue a career in law, especially at the Auckland Law School of the Auckland University?
Firstly, I'd just like to say thank you. Thank you, Fafitai Lava, to the parents, to the caregivers. You do a wonderful job of looking after your children, of raising them. And many of the children that come to us are raised really well. Yeah, and they are firmly grounded in our cultures and our cultural values. That is lovely to see. And I'd like to say thank you on behalf of Dr. Sinclair and the rest of the Folau team. Thank you to the parents that have raised their children very well, who come to university and make knowing them a pleasant experience, a pleasant and rewarding experience for us, the staff. In terms of doing law, I think it's good to have a discussion with your children. Let them do what they want to do that makes them happy. Like I feel like you are always more successful when you do something you're interested in and you're happy about. Sometimes we may put our own dreams on our children, and that leads to a lot of problems later. But allow your children to think for themselves and just be there to support them like you always have throughout their lives. If you're thinking of going to law school, Auckland Law School is an excellent choice. I will be there with the rest of us for our team to support your children should you decide to come. And it's very important. It's very, like I said, fa'alavelave, give it up for maybe 4 years or so. Let the children, let your young ones focus on their studies, whatever it is they decide to do. Whatever values you've taught them will carry them through the law degree. The faith, taking them to church every Sunday. These things they'll carry with them, and we see it when they come. So yeah, have a little faith in your children. They know what they want. They represent you very well, and a lot of it. Personally, for me, I usually have pleasant experience. I've not had an unpleasant experience with Samoan students at the law school. They've all been I can see that a lot of their homes have put a lot into them. So I would say continue to do that, have faith that they'll make really good choices and support them, support them. They they have capabilities that and potential that they can. I think a lot of them have potential to be something great, and I think all I can say is we continue parents, caregivers to give them the support and nurturing that you always have, and not just that, but our churches and everything else around them. You keep them grounded in that because for me personally, that's what's helped me succeed is staying grounded in my Tongan culture. Unfortunately, I'm not Samoan, but staying grounded in my Tongan culture, going to my Tongan churches, those are the small things that have turned out to be the most important things in my academic success, and the love of my family and the support of my communities.
Dr. Suliana Mone, Assistant Dean of Moana, Oceania, Auckland Law School, University of Auckland, Amalo Aupito. Whawhitai te le lava for your time and for coming on board and sharing your views about why it is important for our students who are attending Auckland Law School to have that support from their parents and, of course, their faiths, their churches, and everybody that supports them. It's always good to have that behind them. And, of course, with everything else that you guys are helping with, especially a good friend Jeremiah there. Jeremiah, keep up the good work. You are a superstar, and I cannot wait to see you again with all the food and everything else that you bring. But it's been a pleasure having you on Radio Samoa this afternoon. Dr. Suliana, you have a wonderful afternoon, and I'm pretty sure with all the parents listening and watching, they will get their sons and daughters interested in trying a different career, maybe in law, maybe in something else, but also attending Auckland University. Thank you so much for your time. You have a
Hello.
lovely afternoon and a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. Likewise.
So fuama ia maruia o le dawa mai moma fa fongantu le tantu tro o le tumitai ia Dr. Suliana Mone o le Assistant Dean lea o le Moana, Oceania, Auckland Law School of the University of Auckland, University na o Kilat. Ea o inaina i tantu walo mawhana i le tūlanga lea tautu la fono. E mawhai ona avea i lātou maloia, se teimi o le lumanai, mwhaifu ona avea i lātou mani whaamasino. Ia ma le telo isi mau ngā luenga ese, e mawhai ona tōwhia iai i lātou, pe a i umale manuia, ia lātou wa onga, e misilava i lea onga lea tau loia.